start with a story which is, when I was first made Director of Education some time ago in Edinburgh, and I was going to my daughter's first parents' evening when she was just 5 and a half, and in the car on the way there, my husband said, now don't be smart, don't ask smart questions of the teacher, don't be the Director of Education, just be a parent. And so we went in and the teacher said, and I put Helena in the red group, not in the blue group. And my husband said, well, what's the criteria for putting her in the red group? And I went, and the teacher said, 20 years experience, Mr. Carrie. And I thought, ching-ching! and I say to you today that I think this is our ching-ching moment. We will need to come together to use our experience and our expertise to inform the development of policy and, frankly, the unintended consequences. And I'm sure in this room there are at least 50 stories of unintended consequences with the present proposals in policy just now. And we need to harness them and we need to articulate them in one voice. I think I'm safe to say that this coalition government has been a challenging year for all of us. The trio of spending cuts, the idea of big society and public service reforms has meant that we're being asked to do more for less. I want to know how we can hold to our core purpose of creating a fairer society for families. At Barnardo's, we have a long history of working with the most vulnerable and disadvantaged children in the UK. And I see that, obviously at this moment in time, Barnardo's works with families at a time of intense need. And we're there to pick up the pieces when things go badly wrong. However, we all know that prevention is better than cure. And I tell you now, and I'm not able to give you the statistics, but we are doing a piece of research. The most worrying trend, without doubt, is that family support and early intervention services are being cut across England in lots and lots of different ways. And we're doing a piece of research, and I will come out of London and clear on that in the next few weeks. Our family support programmes are absolutely being decimated in parts of the country. And I tell you, as a charity, I am using voluntary funds. That is the money that people are donating to us to pay for redundancy payments for our staff. The statutory services are being cut. So voluntary funds, donations, are being used to pick up the pieces from statutory cuts that are being made. Unrealistic that spending cuts are necessary and unavoidable. There's a big debate about the pace and how far and how fast. But it's important for Barnardo's that we have a voice in this, because we think the voluntary and the community sector have a vital role to play in this. I say this because we can reach and work with some families that others can't, whether it's stigma, whether it's a misconception. Families come to the voluntary sector because sometimes they can ask for help in a way that they're scared that they might be stigmatised or there might be a consequence in coming to statutory agencies. I don't believe that that's necessarily true, but that's clearly what families think. And I spoke to a woman last week in Sunderland who said, you work with me with my oldest boy, social services are now saying with my youngest boy, I need some help. Can I come to you for help? Just now, that's a genuine cry from someone. It's nothing to do with social services, who are wonderful. It's just where that person feels they can come and ask for help. And I'm saying that it's those who are on the threshold who are in danger of suffering most. We've had a 27% increase in our grants programme. That's just a small grants programme where we give grants for people who might need a bed so that children don't share a bed. They need a cooker so that they can cook hot food, and to pay for school uniforms. And I've had a 30% increase in the last 6 months on a call on those grants. And unfortunately, in desperate times, families take desperate measures, and doorstep lenders are becoming a lifeline for those without access to affordable credit. Our Below the Breadline report shows that the Provident are charging 254% APR. Let me just explain that. On a £300 loan, it looks payable, it's £10.50 a week to pay back that loan, but at the end of year one, you have paid back £525 for a £300 loan. And that's where our families who are the poorest are going. They're forced to go because they have no access to proper credit. And so there is a poverty premium, whether we want to acknowledge it or not. And the costs are not just financial. I was speaking to two chief execs of PCT who are actually saying that they are seeing domestic violence, mental health situations, drug and alcohol and substance misuse referrals on the increase. And that's actually before we're into the situation where where we're moving. So my challenge is about social mobility. My challenge has to be about the most vulnerable. And those of you, I heard what Sarah said, but those of you who are here today who have had children, and Mary-Anne, you said this, are only here because we have the childcare support to do so. The universal credit proposals and the welfare reform bill will only succeed if they're going to give sufficient help with the cost of childcare. One of the unintended consequences of the benefit cap, and we're again doing a piece of work on, is with regard to fostering. Because with housing benefit and benefit cap, people will only get housing benefit for the homes for the family that they need. So if you're a prospective foster parent, you won't be entitled to housing benefit to have a room where you can take a foster child. And that's an unintended consequence that no one's actually factored in, that will actually impact on fostering. So I'm saying that there's 250,000 families who will see their entitlement to childcare reduced by £35 a week. That's what's happening now under the options put forward by the Department of Work and Pensions. And if I may finish with one other area that I'm concerned about, Mary-Anne, which is child support maintenance. There are proposals before us today to charge the parent who remains with the children, not separated parent, an upfront £50 fee for an application to the Child Support Maintenance Agency. And then thereafter, when they collect the money from the absent parent, there will be a surcharge of 12.5% on that money. Might not seem like a lot of money might not seem like a big surcharge to you and I, but for a government agency to surcharge child maintenance to the most vulnerable and to the poorest, I will undoubtedly speak out on that, and I would ask colleagues to join me on that. So I started by saying this is our cha-ching moment. I think while we're in this situation, we have a seat at the table. I think it's incumbent upon all of us to have courageous conversations about what we want to say and how we offer practical advice and policy advice to this government. And I accept that the intentions are laudable. I'm just saying just now that there are huge implications of policy in terms of how it's being rolled out that will undoubtedly affect the most vulnerable children and the most vulnerable families. Thank you.
Anne-Marie, thank you very much.